what's happening, guys? And I wanted to talk a little bit about Hotwire mode, and I've come up with some ideas that I think would help improve the mode. Now, Hotwire is a good mode, but as we all know right now, it can be very, very bad at times. The RPG spam, the C4 spam, the M320 spam. The cars essentially have gone from objectives into death traps, and I think that's something that has to change to make Hotwire a better mode. At the end of the day, the objectives are the cars. They shouldn't be detrimental to the game mode. So let's get stuck into some of the ideas that I've come up with to change this. Firstly, one of the big problems right now is the RPG in the boot that you can access. How it works right now is, assuming you've unlocked the RPG for your car, you can just go to the boot, get an RPG, and it'll one-shot any of the other vehicles. And you go on a small cooldown, then you can get it from a boot again when you spawn back in, and rinse and repeat. You can just hide around a corner, one-shot a vehicle. I think this needs to be removed completely. The RPG in the boot needs to go. Just remove it, and the only RPGs that you can actually use are the ones that are battle pickups around the level. Now, there is an alternative to this, which is not removing it, because they don't like to remove stuff from Battlefield games. My other thought is that it spawns. You can take it out of the boot, you can use it once per round. But once you've used it, it doesn't respawn in that round. That's going to prevent people from just doing it over and over again, and then they'd have to go to the battle pickups instead. While we're on the topic of RPGs, I think the RPGs should not kill in one shot, bar from the tanker. Okay, now this is my thought process on this. The cars are objectives. The objective in Hotwire is to drive these cars to burn enemy tickets. Why not have the RPGs just disable the cars with one RPG? Now, what this does is twofold. First of all, it disables the objective. The whole point is that you need to be able to drive the car. By disabling it, you have stopped that team from earning points with that car. You have done the goal of the RPG. But now, the player in the car also has a chance to react. What he can do is then he can jump out, he can attempt to engage the enemy who was shooting at him, or also, if there's like a number of people in the car, say 3 or 4, it would stop somebody with an RPG just hiding around a corner, popping out, and hitting them, because all it's going to do is disable the car, then 4 guys are going to jump out and shoot at you. I think it would make the RPG a little bit more tactical. You can shoot it potentially, it's going to disable the car, and if you wanted to finish it off, you would have to M320 it or shoot it, but it would give the people inside the opportunity to do something about it, because right now, there isn't any. One of the other problems, I think, right now that's arose is C4. There are just numerous people on Hotwire game modes that literally all they do is they put C4 down on certain roads, then they sit on the side on a bridge somewhere and just detonate C4 as cars come past, and that's all they do. And that's fine. We can't really take C4 out. We can't stop them from doing that. But how about this instead? So right now you've got the car upgrades, which are, RPG in the trunk, reinforced chassis, these sorts of things. We'll have an upgrade that detects explosives. And all it does is when you're driving along on the mini-map, if you've got this upgrade available to you and you're using it, it's going to show explosives on the road. Or even in a 3D space, something like that. That means they're not going to have the reinforced chassis, but what they are going to have is they're going to know if someone's placed a trip mine on the floor or C4, and again, it's going to make it more tactical. The people with C4 could potentially be really frustrated because no one's driving over their cars, but then there's going to be people that don't want that, and they want the reinforced chassis instead. There's going to be a bit of a trade-off. I think that's going to be a good thing. Also, there's something that I think should be in the game, but isn't, and that is the ability to duck down in the car. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. Right now, if you're in a car, and assuming you're not driving, you can press the prone button and you can lean out the window. What if you could press the crouch button, for argument's sake, and that would actually duck you down inside the car? So, if you're driving, and you're driving along, and you see somebody right ahead of you who's shooting at you, and you're getting hit, but you can't get out the way, you could press crouch, and you would be able to duck down inside the car. What this would mean, if you're the driver, of course, you wouldn't actually be able to see, but you would be safe from bullets. So it's kind of like a trade-off. You think, I'll duck down for a couple of seconds until we're past this guy, then I'll pop back up. I can see where I'm going. It's something that would only be available to you in first-person mode. The simple fact that, well, obviously it's completely nullified if you're in third person because you can see everything anyway, and you'd always use the duck. So it has to be something that is only available in first person mode. You could have it with the passengers as well. It wouldn't necessarily have to be the driver, but I think that would be a nice little feature to have in the game, and I don't think it would take that much effort either. You know, the mechanics are there to lean out the window. I don't think ducking down would be a massive, massive thing. The choppers are another issue. I mean, the choppers can be quite overpowered in some servers. If you have a really good chopper pilot and 2 gunners, and they just chase down all the cars and destroy them. And normally I would be like, yeah, let's nerf them, but I'm not going to, because there needs to be that balance in the game, I think. And if a well-oiled team want to take out that chopper, I think they can. You know, they can use the battle pickups. They could even use, you know, the stinger that you can also have in the boot of the cars. So there is ways of taking that chopper out. So I think the chopper would stay. And I think the chopper wouldn't be as frustrating if there wasn't as many explosives on the ground anyway. And so I would leave the chopper as it is. The M320 as well, I'd leave that in. There has to be a way for players to take out the cars. I'm not trying to turn this into a, a tank mode. You know, you need to still be able to take out the cars. And I think the M320s from the beta, that worked fine. You know, at least 2 to take out a car and some gunfire. You got the LMG battle pickups as well. I think that's fine. Use those, and I think that'll make the game mode a lot more balanced. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Obviously, these changes are things that I've come up with and I've thought about, because I've been really frustrated with Hotwire. I really enjoyed playing it, and now it's got to the point where I hate it. And I think it needs to be a bit more balanced. But not everyone's going to agree with what I've got to say, and not everything I say is going to be right, you know? But I'm interested to see what you guys think. So let me know down below in the comments what you think about these changes. And as always, I will see you next time.